What's up, dope stories? Part 5 here. Going to rehab. All right, withdrawal time. This is it. This is the cold turkey. And but first, I keep forgetting. Hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment, because that's how the channels get off the ground. This one's actually doing pretty well. And like eventually, there's going to be more stuff on this channel than just strictly recovery, but I think it's all part of recovery. I think life is recovery. So anyhow, I get on the plane. I'm coming in. It's a really nice rehab in Pennsylvania, and I'm just wearing the clothes I have. I just didn't even think about it, which was a common theme at the rehab. Like, once you got your shit together, you would like ask your family when they came to visit, you'd be like, bring some old clothes if you got them around, you know. You would dress each other. Like this hockey player came in, I completely dressed him. And it was just funny, you know, people would just, it really wasn't the most important thing when you were heading into rehab for a lot of people. Clothes, that just wasn't the issue. But so like I said, I had tried to withdraw from things for years. You know, I gave it a shot here and there and got harder and harder as I got deeper and deeper in. But, you know, when I tell people what I came off of in this rehab and how they cut me off cold and gave me nothing for the first 6 days, nothing, right? They don't believe me because it's incomprehensible. Nowadays, 7 years later, but really it's rare that they don't give people, you know, Librium or different, you know, chemicals to just help you not die, right? Because, look, I was drinking a handle of vodka every 3 days. Just stopping that alone, people have seizures. Let alone 15 years of Xanax. People have seizures after 3 months of Xanax. It's just unbelievable that they did that. And I was a little mad in a way. In a lot of ways, you know, it was really, really crazy. And then methadone, like just the withdrawal of the Xanax, or just the methadone, or just the alcohol, or just the heroin, alone, those withdrawals are harrowing, okay? I was doing that all at once. 7 years straight of the methadone, 10 years straight of the opiates, the heroin and the oxys, 15 years of the Xanax, and probably 30 years drinking every night. But the last 5, you know, serious. And that's a lot of stuff to come off of in one time. So I go in and I'm just like, I just, you know, I honestly figured there was a really good chance I was going to die in there. But I was all in. I didn't care, you know. I was just like, I let go, you know. I just gave it up. I turned it over. The whole experience, I kind of turned it over. And I had to kind of, there's a lot of faith, you know. So I go in, there's like a waiting room and kind of sleepy in there. Sleepy, you know. I went in pretty high on everything, right? Because why not? Another theme in rehab is showing up like that. And there's like a little room you try to sleep in there. And I woke up in the morning and the nurse was like taking my blood. And she just must have jabbed me like 10 times. I wanted to be like, just give it to me. I can do it, you know, I'll get it out. But, and that was the blood they took. And they tested that blood, and the blood was really good. Showed that my organs were doing like pretty well. So there is something to, you know, there is, if you're going to be a fuck up, you know, try to be healthy. It can help. But I'll get to the health thing later, because that was very interesting. That's in part 6 is the last part. So they moved me over to the regular, and like the wing that I was in with some guys. And I mean, it's just insane. Like, it was like 12 guys in there, you know, everybody just, I didn't smoke, you know, and so they would all go out and smoke. So they were all they would like connect on the smoking, and I was just out of my fucking mind, okay? And in this wing, no one really took care of me. I was just like, they were scared of me. I would have been too. I think they got a kick out of me, though. I tried to contribute here and there. But as it took about 2 days till I was in complete withdrawal. And at that point, complete like psychotic break without actually going unconscious. But it was, the only way I can explain it, it was like being on 30 hits of clean acid. 30. And I had done 12, but I'm talking about 30. I was underwater, and it was just really, really, really intense. Meanwhile, I'm going through this excruciating, like, nervous system, just like tearing and just freezing cold. And the whole withdrawal was psychological and sensation. But as far as physical, I had a complete miracle. Like I was saying, I had a complete miracle because I had withdrawn from just opiates before. Or any time I would do it, my digestive system would be completely gone for a week, a full week at least. 24 hours in, my digestive system was perfect. Better than it's just perfect. Better than it had been since I was probably like a kid or something. And I was on high blood pressure medicine, losartan. And even on the losartan, when I would have to go into my doctor once a month to get my methadone and get my Xanax prescriptions and stuff. He's a really cool guy. I mean, he didn't know he was dealing pharmacy, pharmakia. I mean, the root word is sorcery for pharmakia. The Greek word for pharmakia is sorcery, okay? God gives natural, like, naturopathic, medicine, like, if you're going to take kava, that's like Xanax. It's like a GABA. Valerian, that's like Xanax. Or kratom is like an opiate, right? But if you eat too much of these things, you throw it up. God's got it all dialed in so he doesn't kill us while we're trying to medicate ourselves. But the doctors, third leading cause of death is malpractice. Like, doctors are just out to fucking kill you, Sorry, doc, if you're out there. And they don't know any better. When they get their 8 years of school, sleep deprivation, all they're fed is symptoms, treatment, symptoms, drugs, which just make it worse, and you make you more and more things, debilitating until you need surgery, and it's just ching, ching, ching all the way down, and all that. But anyhow, so the drugs I was on, the pharmaceutical ones, the Xanax and the Methadone, have that half-life. So the Xanax, so I'm tripping, and I'm asking my counselor, who was really cool, my first counselor, in the acute withdrawal stage, the first month, and he was like, look, man, I know Jerry Garcia, like, I've been through it, I understand what's going on with you. It was the combination of the Xanax withdrawal, sun's out, Xanax withdrawal, and the all the LSD you did, it stores up in the fat cells, and then what you're doing now is you're burning it all off at once. I'm like, great, thanks. And so I am losing it. And I would go to him. I mean, time was moving so slowly during this. It was excruciating, but time was moving so slowly that I'd be sitting outside and there was a clock tower, and I'd look at it and it would say 12 o'clock. And like, I'm just holding on, white knuckle, just holding on. I kept telling myself, man, you're just like, it's like surfing, and you're way out at sea, and it's a huge storm. But eventually the storm will pass and you'll get to the shore. That's what I just kept telling myself. And I went into him, I said, look, I'm going to flip out. And he goes, and he's like, here. And he hands me like a rock, a smooth rock, super smooth rock. And he's like, go out and hold this. I'm like, that's it? Like, that's all you got? I came here because I figured if Aerosmith came here that you could probably treat me. I came here because this was like a medical facility, and I figured you'd help me with something on the way down, through this acute part. But they didn't. And, they say, remember your last rehab? And the reason I think a lot of people use again is because their withdrawal isn't that bad. I'm terrified of that. I don't have another one of those in me. Not at all. not only will I not forget this experience, my soul, my left brain soul that goes on forever, is going to remember it. People who inherit my left brain soul are going to have nightmares of that, okay? If that's what happens, right? So, and I was sitting out front once on a bench, and it was fall. And I thought that they had the trees and all the woods around there and all the buildings. I thought they had little speakers everywhere, right? Because I was hearing like perfectly clear celestial music, right? Like new age celestial music. And like when I finally came out of it, I was like, yo, hey man, did they take down the speakers and stuff? Like, where's the music? They're like, what music? Oh man. So I'm sitting out there, he gives me the rock, and I am flipping out. And it's fall, and I'm underwater, and like this leaf came down off of a tree, and it was just floating down, and like it was just cutting through the water, like ripples coming off of it. And like I just kind of like, it slowed everything down, and I just kind of like, it just really like, I don't know, I just didn't flip out for a couple minutes or something, but it actually was kind of a shift for me, but I was still flipping out. And like, I'd be sitting out there, and it was excruciating, and I'd look at the clock tower and say 12, and I would swear 4 hours went by. I'd swear, I'd look up and just hope it's 4 o'clock, thinking it might be 4, and it was 12:05. 5 minutes went by, and I didn't sleep at all for the first 30 days. Not a wink, just completely. And I would just like terrorize the night shift people. There were whiteboards everywhere, and I would just like, I'd be like, look, this is how the world works, and it starts with Babylon, and I trace the secret societies to the pharaohs, to the Greeks, to the Romans, all the way up till now, and the skull and bones and all this conspiracy stuff, right? And like a lot of these people were getting into it. Like this one counselor left it on her whiteboard forever, but I was just looking to distract myself, and but that was kind of funny. But anyhow, at night I would check time, you know, it was going so slow, and I would check, am I getting any better, right? And so I would set the microwave for 10 seconds and just hit, start and watch it tick off. The first night it was like 10, 9. And the third night, it would just go a tiny bit faster. And I was like, well, I guess I'm getting better, but it wasn't. It was marginal, okay? The first 5 nights and 5 days, it was just steady, 30 hits of LSD, excruciating, wrenching, like out of the bone marrow, this, and I could see it visually, like close my eyes, and but the reason, my high blood pressure, I go in, 24 hours later, they check my blood pressure with no medication, and it went 120/70, slammed, perfect, right? Digestion perfect, blood pressure perfect. And I'm from a big family, and I know they were praying for me. I know that they realized this was going to be pretty bad, and I attribute it to that. Like I really did feel, I felt that, and while that was going on, I would just be like laying. I couldn't breathe either, but I was just laying in like my bed, and they usually have 2 people to a room, but they were like, we're not putting anyone in your room. I don't know if they were protecting them or me, but both, man. Don't put anyone in my room. But I was just wide awake, out of my mind, tripping, but it was like these incredible spiritual experiences, like just visual, like myself was like an onion, and just peel layers and layers, and it's getting like, and all this, like, all these negative things were just like coming off me, and like, it was visual, and I did come out of this thing transformed, and I think it was a lot like the ayahuasca and the ibogaine, the psychedelic treatment for heroin addiction. Like I just got so freaking blown away that when I came through, everything was fresh and new. like, they were like, you can't go back to your place in the mountains. It's trigger, you know, because I used to just come up here every weekend and do drugs. But when I came back, it was just completely new. It had nothing to do with that. And when I would drive places where guys' houses or people I knew, like, it was just all brand new. And I think it was from the psychedelic aspect of it, like that ibogaine vibe. So there it is. That's what I'm dealing with for 5 days straight. And they said, well, we can't give you the Subutex, the Suboxone, to taper me down off the methadone. We can't start you on that until you're in full physical withdrawal. But the problem is all the physical aspects were cured. Like, they were. It was a miracle. There's no other way to explain my blood pressure going perfect and my digestive system going perfect. Like, there's no other way. Because I had tried those things hundreds and hundreds of times. Every time the same result, destroyed digestive system. So anyhow, they were waiting for this big physical, like me to be throwing up and all this stuff. And it didn't happen, so they wouldn't give me the Subutex. But I couldn't take it. And the other counselors were hanging out in the hallway, and I walked down the hallway and fake collapsed in front of them. I hit the wall and slid down. And they were like, get him to the Subutex, he's ready. So they take me down, and they give me my first 8 milligrams, and it was like, woof, from 30 hits down to 3. And I'm pretty much at 2 to 3, after that. So I didn't come down much more, but it just, oh my gosh, man. Thank God, And then they tapered me down from there. It was about 16 days of that taper. But no, it was about 25 days, whatever. Didn't sleep a wink. Finally, 30 days, they're like, do this breathing exercise. And I'm thinking, you got all these other dudes on all kinds of sleep medication. You already admitted I'm like the 4th worst person you've seen come in here. Why am I not getting any kind of treatment, right? And I feel everything happens for a reason. I feel like the Creator wanted me to suffer, wanted me to suffer. You pay to play. You're not getting through this one, I'm going to heal you physically, but you're going to suffer. And I'm not going to let these guys give you any medication. And they tried, in the 30th day, the end of the month, they tried, trazodone. That didn't work or whatever. And it was 40 days now, and I hadn't slept. I'm like, you guys, I'm going to die probably from not sleeping, not from all the other things that you tried to, kill me with. But, so they gave me, what was it called? It's an antipsychotic. It's a really strong drug. And people actually abuse it. But it would knock me out. And it would knock me out, but it took it turned reality into 2-dimensional. And zero emotions and 2-dimensional. It's what they put, crazy people on. But it'll make you sleep. But the next day you're just there's no emotions. And my mom died while I was in rehab, which was pretty wild because I'm the youngest of 8, and she's had been, pneumonia over the end time there, and I honestly feel like I was the youngest, and they were all right, but I wasn't, and it's I feel like she saw me go in there, and she saw me clean, and we talked, and we were telling each other we love each other, and the next time she got pneumonia right after that, 3 weeks into rehab, I think that she was like, oh, my kids are going to be okay, and I'm ready to go. But when I went to the funeral, I was on this stuff, and it was just I didn't even really experience it. So anyhow, my counselor hated me. I think it's because I was a lot like him, but he didn't understand. I chose to go. I went. I chose to go, and that's a whole different ball game than somebody being forced to go, whether it's legally or an intervention. When you choose to go, he was really rough on me. I kept tearing me down. I was like, yo, I get it. I'm a piece of shit. I get it. Can you maybe start building me up a tiny bit? Or no, no. And I wonder if it was a technique that he was using on me, because I swear I stayed clean to spite him. I was like, he counted me out, you know. He said, you're going to need a year-long thing. He wanted to put me in like some kind of fucking like year-long home. He was about to recommend to my family a year. And I don't know. Whatever it did, it kind of worked, because I was like, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. Because my first 6 years were really hard, and I relapsed, but never more than like one day, because I just cannot get physically addicted again like that. But the post-acute withdrawal, that is part 6. All right. So he was really mean. And so there were a few things that people told me at rehab that clicked. Okay. His treatment of me and his therapy did nothing other than piss me off and make me want to prove him wrong. So, you know, but one thing he said to me, and, you know, I've been into the whole researching all the different religions and the Bible and all that stuff. And I totally, like, I knew that God existed, you know, I know it, I knew it. And I was trying to tell him, I was like, yeah, no, I'm into God and stuff. And I'd be like, look, my Bible is like highlighted, the whole thing. And he's like, you know what? You don't know God. You don't, or you wouldn't be here. And I was like, wow, he's right, you know? And he was right about that. So something else, like my one brother, he said to me, you know, you're going to relapse when you get out of here. And like, you got to understand the difference in your life is going to be, can you get back on track the day after? Like, can you get back on track? And like, I was like, because I like rational stuff, like rational recovery or whatever. I just, so this other counselor in there, this woman, she wasn't my counselor, but I used to hang out in her office and like terrorize her on the whiteboard. And she heard some of my songs, and one day she like came up to me and she goes, you know what? Like, she goes, I promise you, if you stay clean for 1 year, you're going to blow your own mind with the music you make. And it clicked, and I was like, yo, I think she's right. And I think that's like a huge thing with recovery in general. And like, if anybody's ever dealing with somebody, or anyone out there like watching this, what's inside you? You know, what do you have in there like that has been clouded up, that's been covered over, that's been buried, that you can do, or that you're good at, or that you want to do, you know? And I don't know you, so I can't point it out, but if you know somebody who's going through this stuff and you can find that thing in them and you promise them, give them something real, you know? And like a technique that a lot of like sponsors in AA will say to people, they'll say, if you don't do dope for 1 year, I'll buy you your first bag, you know? Like, because just getting that time is what's important. And the longer you use, the longer that time needs to be. Because it takes a while to break through. It takes a while to break through the other side. And something helped me a whole lot. This woman doctor out in Colorado who has a system of IVs and amino acids that woke my mind back up. That's in part 6 too. Yeah, and the first like wing that I was put in there, that's where James Taylor had stayed, and way back. And it was, the guitars were there, and God, it's all new to me, like playing clean, and I immediately clicked. I was like, wait, this is different. Like, this could be good. Like, I learned a lot high and stuff, and there's things for that, but nobody writes good songs like on any, you have to be really clean, okay? And I was starting to see it, and I was like, you know what? Like, he wrote Fire and Rain there. The story is a friend of his got moved to a different rehab Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. Woke up this morning, I wrote down this song, and I was like, songwriting is really complex and really hard, but in a way it needs to be simple also. And I just kind of was like, I was like vibing on that energy, and I was like, you know what? Like, he did it here. Like if one person can do something, another person can. Not that I'll ever write a song like James Taylor, but anyhow, yeah, I was gonna vibe with him instead of the fact that Aerosmith went there, and I was riding the same elevator that song "Love in an Elevator" was written about. That's what they said there, that he hooked up with one of the nurses there. I mean, how cheesy. Steven Tyler. Anyhow, yo, man, if you want me, I want to interview you. You got a cool story? Like, everybody's story is cool. And you don't have to even be an addict or a recovered addict to get stuff from interviews with these people, because I believe most people are addicts. You know what I mean? Like, we're raised in this system, and it just steals our spirituality and our connection and what God wants us to do, and replaces it with, like, junk food, alcohol, fucking pornography, all this crazy shit that people are programmed. Steal it and replace it. They steal God, they steal the Creator, and they replace it with a big, gigantic, cosmic, big bang fart, and you're a monkey, you're slime that turned into a monkey. They just steal it, okay? And like, addicts go all the way in, but I think everybody's running around. And I mean, the 12 steps of AA were taken from a Christian group that had 7 steps. And I really do believe in those steps. I want to do a video on them, because I believe everybody should get a chance to go to the rehab and just talk shit, cry, listen to other people cry, just have a counselor tell you you're a piece of shit, hopefully build you back up. But, that's just the state of the world. And so anyhow, I'll put my email down there, or just let me know in a comment if you want to let me interview you, because I'd love to, and there's people that would like to hear your story. All right. Peace.